Hello, Profilitos. Welcome back to my channel. Here we are back at the East Coast Bypass Road. We're at the point where the road turns west. So, like I said, we can come all the way south for about 4 miles. It's about 4 miles now. We've been heading south. And that's what we've left behind us. That's the East Coast Bypass Road heading towards the East Coast Road that is north. It begins to turn west at this point. So it's coming south and then it turns west. But at this point, as you can see, the road is not yet complete. So these guys are actually working on this turning point where the road turns west. As you can see, the traffic coming west would not be able to go beyond this point without leaving. So you have to go on to this dirt track, basically. But this is where the road would turn west. And like I said, there's a potential for the road to continue further south at this point, going deep into Demerara. And these guys are obviously working on that. Right, but eventually this road is going to join up. That is the road looking, right, that's the road looking west towards Heroes Highway. And this is the intersection. So the question is, how does this road turn? Are they going to build a roundabout, or are they going to build an interchange that allows traffic to continue west by exiting from the southbound road? So the road will continue south, apparently, in that direction. That's further south, right? So the road continues further south in that direction. But eventually, traffic that wants to get to the east bank would have to exit here. And this is the culvert that is being built at the turn off to exit west. So the road is actually not continuous yet. It hasn't been joined. These guys are some of the local, some of the foreign engineers from India working on this road. As you can see, one side of the road is surfaced, has been covered with asphalt, but the other side, see, the other side is still under construction. And this is at the turning point where the road turns, the East Coast Bypass Road turns west towards Heroes Highway. Now, as you can see, there will be a road continuing further west. So to get onto this section, they're going to have to build an interchange, an exit. Now, if it were Guyanese contractors, I think they would be building some kind of roundabout. So the last time I came to this section of the road, several months ago, I was contemplating whether what they had constructed in the ground was the beginning signs of a roundabout, but now I'm not so sure. They're actually building a culvert. So that's the culvert that they're building. And my guess is that if this meets international standards, what they will eventually put is some exits that allow you to turn onto this road going west. This is the East Coast Bypass Road. turning west. There's certainly a lot more activity on this road than the last time I was here. It seems as if these guys have completed a lot of the work on the southbound lanes and have now turned their attention to these east westbound roads, the east west road. Now that's the operation from this point. That's what it looks like. And it seems as if they're building a pair of culverts at this intersection. Remember, it was raining recently. So they're building a pair of culverts here. That I guess eventually will allow them to link up. Right, so that's what this culvert looks like at this point. Ground is soft and like cake at this point, but I guess eventually it will probably build some foundation, some reinforcements. But that's the state of affairs here on the East Coast Bypass Road as you turn west towards Heroes Highway. I would say we're about at least 2 miles, probably 3. I have to revise my estimate for distance because this seems more like 8 miles instead of 7 miles, which means that eventually when we complete this trek from the East Coast Road to Heroes Highway, I think we would have covered at least 8 miles and not 7 as I predicted, maybe even more. But we'll see when we get to the end. These are the trucks working on the road. The last time we were here, this side that I'm walking on, this is the eastbound lane. The other side, that would be the westbound lane. These roads were not yet formed. The foundation, the road bed had not been installed. Now there seems to be a road bed. On the other side, they have completed even the laying of the road surface, asphalt. That has been completed. So there is significant progress. They've also seemed to have dug out the canal alongside the road. So all these piles of dirt on the side of the road, on the shoulder, are part of the construction, I guess, of the canal and shoulder of the road. So there is some progress, but at this point, I would say the road is less than 50% completed. It's probably about 40% completed, which means that being able to join up the southbound lanes and the westbound lanes to get to the eastbound bypass road or Heroes Highway could take several months because all of this road surface has to now be completed. Then median streetlights and so on, road markings have to be installed, and then you can hook up and open the road. So I would guess that the opening of this road will probably be much further beyond the end of this year, perhaps December or January or even later in 2026. But it's only April, So there is still time for accelerated completion. Maybe they're going to add new workers to this project like they did for the bridge. You can see some high tension lines, electricity lines in the distance. So there's some kind of electrical substation nearby. That is also important. Right, these are high tension wires crossing the road at this point. I don't know if you can see them. But yes, there's going to be some months before the completion of this East Coast bypass road, but there is significant progress beyond what I found the last time I visited. So they seem to have completed the, was it westbound lanes? Don't know what it's going to look like when it's actually drawn up, when they've drawn up the road markings. But this is supposed to be 2 lanes heading west. That's the direction in which we're going right now. And further on the other side, 2 lanes heading east, which is now that direction. It's still cloudy and overcast because it was raining earlier, but that's good because it's cooler. It could be really hot and humid down here in the tropics on a Saturday morning, and these guys are busy at work laying out this road. So it seems to me that a lot of the progress has been done on the southbound lanes, right? But between the East Coast. 12 miles. Duration 4 hours, 11 minutes, 2 seconds. Pace 23 minutes, 10 seconds per mile. Yeah, so a lot of this has been completed. A lot of the work that has been completed was done on the southbound lanes, south and northbound lanes from Ogle to this point where it turns, where the road turns west. All right, that's the point we just passed where the road turns west. A lot of the work that has been completed on those north-south lanes. And here on the east-west side, there is significant progress, but it's not as close to completion as the other lanes. But this is what is happening here on the East Coast bypass road as it turns west towards Heroes Highway. Again, it still is a much smoother road based on what I've seen so far of the construction, the use of asphalt as a final road surface. So it is definitely a better product, right? It's a better product than previously. Than what was previously done here. These guys are now pouring, I guess, concrete to complete this hookup for the culvert. There you go. That's the current hookup for the culvert. to close the gap across the culvert. And this culvert, of course, these were the original canals for punts that carried sugar cane out of the sugar plantation. So these canals actually are part of the irrigation system for the land that is now being repurposed. All this land to the north and south of the highway was once sugar plantation. And this road is being built on what was once plantation land and has to cross all of these canals that were cut through the land for irrigation purposes. Now they're pouring concrete to join the road across the culvert. That's what's going on here. So that's what's happening here, guys. This is what is happening all along the length of this highway. Eventually, it does catch up with the Heroes Highway at the interchange, the Eccles interchange, in about 2 miles from here. But as you can see at this point, still a lot of active construction going on. In other words,